Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kid Blog Podcast. Students have a voice. Who's listening? This podcast series features authentic opinions and experiences of some of our most successful Kid Blog users. My name is Grace Carlson, and in this podcast, 5th grade teacher Melissa Ramlow will be our knowledgeable teacher presenter. We created this podcast for any and all education professionals interested in learning more about implementing classroom blogging, specifically those searching for advice on best practices for promoting student voice. Today, Melissa will first give you a little intro about her teaching experience, then she'll go through some scenarios about how she promotes student voice through blogging and other methods, and conclude on why those practices continue to be relevant and beneficial. I'll wrap us up with some information about how you can get started with blogging. Finally, as a thank you for your time today, we're offering a special KidBlog membership discount code at the end of our recording, so keep listening for your code. Now, without further ado, let's hand it over to Melissa.
Hello, everyone. This is Melissa Ramlow, and I am super excited to share my experience using KidBlog in my classroom and how it empowers student voice. A little background about me. I am a 5th grade ESL teacher. I have my master's in diverse learning, which includes an ESL and LBSL 1 endorsement. This coming school year will be my first year in 5th grade. I am looping up from 4th grade with my class from last year. I am looking forward to working with my students again and seeing the growth that they will make in another year. A little bit about my students and our school district. Waukegan is an urban community with a very large district. We serve just over 16,000 students from early childhood through high school. Our district is a Title I district. My particular school building is Whittier Elementary, and we have a population of 75% being considered low income, with 100% of our students receiving free meals. Waukegan is also a very diverse community. Our school has a population with 82% of our students being Hispanic and 11% of the students being Black. I am entering my 4th year in the district, and also this will be my 4th year using KidBlog. My classroom population is mostly Hispanic, being the ESL teacher. My students have exited the bilingual program, where some of their instruction was in Spanish, to the ESL environment, where 100% of the instruction is in English, and they do receive additional ESL supports through my instruction. KidBlog has really been a great tool in my classrooms for so many reasons. One, it allows me to see my students' writing progress across the school year. This is extremely important in the ESL setting. It also allows students to express themselves in a way they haven't been exposed to before. And it really is an awesome way to bring art and technology together in the common curriculum. Oftentimes, art and technology are considered separate, and the students go to a separate class for those subjects. But in my class, I try to create a more powerful impact on their learning by incorporating art and technology into almost all of my lessons. My colleague and I actually brought 6 of our students to the International Society for Technology and Education, or ISTE conference, this past June in Chicago to present on this very topic. And one of the projects our students talked about was sharing their voices and writing on KidBlog. I am thrilled about using KidBlog for another year in my classroom because of the power it gives my students. My main goal as a teacher since the beginning of my career is to empower my students. I want them to know that their voices deserve to be heard. I use KidBlog mostly during my ELA block, and part of that block does include an independent practice time. During the independent practice time, students are required to complete a full menu of items in 1 week. The menu includes items like reading with a partner, reading by themselves, working on a word study, recording themselves reading and then listening to their fluency, and also writing. For writing on KidBlog, sometimes I give my students the choice, and you never really know what you're going to get with student choice, so it's always very interesting. Sometimes it's just what's going on in their lives, soccer games, siblings, quinceañeras, a lesson that really stuck with them. And other times when I do a specific assignment, it's things like book talks, a review of a field trip we've gone on, letters to the future selves, or publishing a formal writing assignment. Some of my students have enjoyed it so much that they've started blogging at home. It's super easy to log in at home, just as easy as it is to log in at school. And after they've completed their week's menu and can choose something to do again, most of them beg to get on KidBlog again. Each year I do see a trend when the students start using KidBlog. At first they post a blog that's 1 or 2 sentences. They're really just getting comfortable with it. But as soon as they start getting comments, they really start getting into a writing groove. I have chosen not to grade any of the KidBlog assignments because I don't want to slow the creativity in any way. But since I am able to monitor what is published, I often send drafts back to students when the blog post is riddled with grammar or spelling errors. How I do use KidBlog grading-wise is more just like a portfolio. I want to see their growth from day 1 to the last day of school. I discuss with them the importance of being a global and digital citizen, and that KidBlog is a safe place for them to be themselves and to share with the world what they want to share. So I don't want them sharing blog posts that they haven't taken time and care to curate. The great part about monitoring is you always get to approve what goes public and what doesn't. And in my 3 years of using it, I have never had an issue with students posting anything inappropriate. KidBlog is so great in that it also incorporates so many of our 21st century skills. They are communicating, collaborating, and being creative. From the beginning of the year to the last day, my students are commenting on each other's blogs. It does start out with just a simple hi or a good job, but then it evolves into asking questions about what they are posting or showing pure excitement and empathy for their peers. My students have been able to connect with students around the country too by tagging KidBlog and using the hashtag on my own social media. I have been contacted by other teachers looking to connect. All of the 4th grade classes in our building have also decided to start using KidBlog as well, so the students are able to connect with their peers in the building. KidBlog is so great in that students who are always more tech savvy than the teacher figure out how to add a picture to their blog. They start importing pictures for their avatar. They change the color and the font and style of their blog. They also love that they can import from their Google Drive. Since we are a Google district, students can bring in something they've already created. In fact, some of my students have incorporated podcasts that they have published, and that way more people have access to them. Each blog is just so individual. When looking through my student dashboard, it's just so great to see all the different titles and pictures that they use. They are working together to help each other get more creative and showing each other how to incorporate those pictures and those fonts. It really has been transformative for every one of my classrooms. The impact of using KidBlog in my classroom has been immeasurable. Blogging is a skill that will stay with them forever, and the other skills that my students develop while blogging will continue to help them grow as learners and as people. What I have seen is poets blossoming, storytellers creating stories that come to life, and students letting the world hear their voice. Their voice is my greatest treasure. I love allowing them the vessel to say what oftentimes gets silenced since they are children. My greatest kid blog stories mostly come from the last presidential election. Many of my students do come from families with undocumented family members. During that time in some of their lives, they were scared. I could not believe how eloquent and profound their messages were. Colleagues told me they shouldn't be talking about it, but I disagreed. They have fears, questions, and concerns that are completely valid, and they need to have an outlet to express those feelings. One of the quotes that still stays with me almost 2 years later, from the day after the election, was from one of my students, and she wrote, "We are strong, and we are not going to cry because we are so strong." And another one wrote, "I wanted Clinton to win, but I hope that Donald Trump is going to be a good president. I hope Donald Trump is a good person." KidBlog was a way they could express their concerns in a safe way. I also use KidBlog in fun ways. I use KidBlog as a way to poll my class and get them writing opinion pieces that are relevant to their lives. Students are often asked to write opinion pieces about things that they don't feel they have an impact on. But when finding a way to make it relevant to them, it increases how they use their voice. I even see students respectfully disagreeing with each other with reasons and evidence in comments. When I ask my students to blog, they don't complain. I do see students organizing their writing and planning it out in a way that I would plan it out. Some of my students use post-it notes. Some of them write outlines. I have even seen some students use novels that they are reading or other student blogs to find inspiration. I feel this is so powerful. It's exactly how people find inspiration when they start to write. They know about plagiarizing, but they also know that many poets and authors do get inspiration from other writers. The other part of KidBlog and my students finding their voice is the home connection piece. My students all have a QR code on their folder that goes directly to our class blog. The students love reading what their child has written as well as what other students have written. It really gives them a snapshot into our life in the classroom and the community that we have built together. KidBlog has really given my students the place to be heard, to be creative, and to have fun. It is a wonderful tool.
Thank you, Melissa, for sharing your important message and authentic testimonial. Again, Melissa is a 5th grade teacher out of Waukegan, Illinois. If you're interested in setting up a classroom blog, Melissa uses a teacher premium membership with her students, which you can sign up for with our special listener discount available for a limited time. Use code PODCASTSV25 to get 25% off a new teacher premium membership. That's PODCASTSV25 in the promotion code box when you sign up on our website, kidblog.org. A teacher premium membership is the perfect membership for one teacher. It comes with all of the online publishing tools described in this podcast and creates a safe space for up to 200 students. Your students' digital portfolios will build automatically, and posts published to classmates, connections, and public will also be displayed in a cohesive class page. If you're already registered under a teacher premium membership and have neighbors across the hall also using KidBlog, consider upgrading your school to an Admin Pro account, specifically built for teams of teachers, schools, and even districts. To learn more about Admin Pro or request your quote today, visit our website, kidblog.org/home/admin-pro. If you have any questions about memberships, please email us at membership@kidblog.org. That's membership@kidblog.org. If you enjoyed our podcast today, consider checking out Addressing Digital Security Topics in Middle to High School Classrooms on our YouTube page and other social media. Our next podcast topic will be released soon, so keep an eye on our blog and social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for more details. Thanks again, everyone, for listening.